Good evening, everyone. I'm Eric Nelson. I see many familiar faces tonight. And I thought I would open with a brief poem by Rumi, and then we'll move into practice, and then I'll conclude with a very brief overview of our section on the healing power of awareness, which we've been working with for the past 4 or 5 months now. But I thought I'd start with Rumi. So just settling in to this moment, feeling the feet on the floor, sits bones in the chair, sensing into the back, shoulders, the arms, the hands, this being with the body, the neck, the face. And this is a poem by Rumi. Your grief for what you've lost lifts a mirror up to where you're bravely working. Expecting the worst, you look, and instead, here's the joyful face you've been wanting to see. Your hand opens and closes and opens and closes. If it were always a fist or always stretched open, you'd be paralyzed. Your deepest presence is in every small contracting and expanding. The two as beautifully balanced and coordinated as a bird's wings. I'll read that one more time. Your grief for what you've lost lifts a mirror up to where you're bravely working. Expecting the worst, you look, and instead, here's the joyful face you've been wanting to see. Your hand opens and closes and opens and closes. If it were always a fist or always stretched open, you'd be paralyzed. Your deepest presence is in every small contracting and expanding. The two as beautifully balanced and coordinated as a bird's wings. Just ponder on that for a moment. And so this evening, for the next hour or so, we have the opportunity to simply rest in awareness of this mind and body and becoming more familiar with the patterns of the mind and body. And in that awareness, we can move to a place of living more consciously, with less reactivity, and greater connection to our deepest values. So this beginning the practice, just noticing sound for a moment as I tap the bell, and hopefully you'll hear some of this. I know the sound is a little strange over the internet sometimes. So once again, just settling in the present moment, feeling into the body. Just noticing sensations in the body. And just feeling again the contact points of the feet, the sits bones, the hands. And you're invited to close your eyes if you'd like. And as we begin, just checking in with your motivation. Just noticing what is the purpose for coming to this practice, for working with the mind and the body, developing a deeper understanding of the mind and the emotions. And then just letting go of any expectations that might arise for this practice tonight, and just accepting whatever comes into form, being with it with a kind heart, an accepting heart, with a curious heart. So allowing whatever comes to come, and in that deep allowing, it will last as long as it needs to, and then move on and dissolve. And then just resolving to be with the practice as best you can. Noticing when the mind wanders, to gently bring the attention back to the practice. We do this over and over again. And finally, just noting any distractions that might come up, maybe something that's weighing heavily on the mind in the past, or maybe it's an expectation around the future, and just noting those. And recognizing their importance, and then just letting them know that you will get to those at some point after this practice. But for right now, they can just take a break and rest for the next hour or so. And now just coming into the body again, just noticing the breath in the upper body, taking 3 or 4 slow deep breaths, relaxing on each exhale. And just giving your mind and your body permission to just settle and rest in our present moment experience, both of the body and of this deeper, pure awareness that we touch as we go into our practice of stillness. Now just bringing the attention to the top of the head. We'll just do a brief body scan, inviting the body to soften and relax as we scan from the top of the head, feeling through the face, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, and just relaxing those areas of the head, face, neck, and shoulders. Just inviting the whole head and the shoulders, the jaw, the throat, to soften, soothe, and rest. Soften, soothe, and rest. Sensing into the tops of the shoulders, noticing the left arm and hand, Being the sensations there. Soften, soothe, and rest that whole left side of the neck, the shoulder, the arm, the hand. And sensing in the left side of the neck, the right side of the neck, the right shoulder, down the right arm and hand. And noticing the tops of the shoulders dropping down to the shoulder blades, down all the way through the middle, the back, the lower back, the hips, and just feeling into the whole shoulders, back, and hips. Just inviting the whole back and hips to soften, soothe, and rest. Soften, soothe, and rest. Sensing the front of the body, chest, the ribs, the abdomen. Soften, soothe, and rest. And now noticing the lower back, the hips, the sits bones. And just dropping down, noticing sensations in the left thigh, the left knee, calf, shin, left ankle, the foot, and the toes. Just inviting that whole left hip, thigh, and lower leg and feet, the foot and the toes to soften, soothe, and rest. Then coming back up the left leg over into the right hip, dropping down through the right hip, the right thigh and knee. The sensations. Soften, soothe, and rest. Up and down through the knee, through the calf, the shin, the ankle, the feet, foot, and the toes. Now just feeling into both feet, grounded on the floor, on the earth. Connecting with our mother, this giver of life to this human body, and all the other plants and animals and insects, all the beings on this planet. We give thanks for each breath that we take, the bounty of the exhale of all the plants on land and in the seas that give us life-giving oxygen. The water we drink, the food we eat, sustains us. Give thanks for this mother. Give thanks to this beautiful blue-green jewel that floats in this Milky Way galaxy. Quite miraculous, beyond the conceptual mind, really. And in this awareness, we actually touch awareness itself, which is infinite and universal, has no center, no periphery. Essential nature transcends and includes this body and this universe. And just coming into the breath body now, noticing the experience of the breath in the upper body. Particularly noticing the beginning and end of each breath and the space in between. As you rest the attention in the breath, if you'd like to add, if you want to support a little more stability, you can, at the end of the in-breath, count 1 silently. At the end of the out-breath, count 2. Just that 1, 2, 1, 2 count. Do that for a few minutes, which will support the mind being a bit more stable. And then you can drop the counting and just come back to the sense of pure sensation of the breath. Just resting in the natural rhythm of the breath. No need to change anything. Pausing for a moment and just checking into the body, scanning through the body and noticing any subtle contractions, maybe in the face or the jaw, shoulders, any other parts of the body. Just breathing through those areas with the invitation to soften, soothe, and rest. So just take a couple minutes to release any contraction or tension that may be held in the body. And then just return to the breath when you're ready. And you can just be with the sensation of the breath now. Again, just noticing perhaps the beginning and end of each breath. You can even notice maybe there's slight pausing between breaths or transition between breaths. Just noticing that full kind of four-part cycle of an in breath, then it's followed by a pause, out breath, pause, breath. Again, no need to change the breath in any way, but just being as familiar with the moment by moment sensations of the breath to help stabilize attention. As we rest in the breath, we call this resting in the breath kind of the foreground of attention, where we're placing the flashlight of our attention on the breath. And in the background, there still may be thoughts or other sensations like sound or touch in the background. We just allow that to kind of float by at its own pace. No need to attend to it, no need to push it away. There's a very open, spacious awareness of the whole of our experience right now, but our attention is trained primarily on the moment by moment sensations of the breath in the body. It's the foreground attention. Be very alert to the beginning, middle, and end of each breath, the pauses between breaths. If you'd like, you can make this subtle shift into just resting now. The foreground of attention was on the breath, with everything else kind of in the background. Now I can shift the foreground of the attention to that which is awake and aware of the breath. So just foreground now is we're just resting in awareness. And the background is everything else, the thoughts, emotions, sensations. And they can just kind of float by, come and go of their own accord while we just rest in a sense of wakefulness, spaciousness, openness. Just resting in awake awareness. Thoughts, emotions, the experience of the breath are all kind of just automatic and in the background. Just come and go to attend to them, push them away. And just resting that foreground attention in this awake awareness. Awareness. If there's any sense of quietude or stillness within that resting, just feeling into the joy, that experience of calm. Invite that into the whole body, recognizing that this is a natural state. When we come to rest, rest is a general upliftment, sense of joy and peacefulness. And just recognizing that as our natural state of open-hearted awareness. Touching into that quality of awakeness that is before the mind breaks the world into duality, into likes and dislikes. Just resting in that ground quality of awareness that's pure, whole, luminous, undifferentiated. Now it's resting. Not making an object out of awareness, we're just resting inside the experience of being awake. And that resting, you're just in awareness itself. Now it's resting. If you want to tip into insight practice a little bit here to investigate this deepest quality, or deep quality of awareness, ask the question, resting in this in awareness, can we find, is there a center of awareness, a point where we can notice it? Is there an edge to it, a periphery? Is there a color, a thickness? And likely it won't fall into any of those definitions. It's kind of typically the outcome is this awareness seems to be all pervasive without any center or periphery. And shifting back to this noticing awareness, resting in awareness. And coming back to the breath now in the body. And foreground attention back to the sensation of the breath. You may still be in touch with awareness itself as we get more familiar with it. It doesn't really, it's that which is noticing the breath. And we'll move into some loving kindness practice now. Beginning with phrases directed towards ourselves. May I be happy and joyful in this moment. May I be healthy in mind, healthy in body, healthy in spirit. May I know inner peace and outer peace. May I be free from suffering and free from the causes of suffering. May I live with ease. May I live with ease. Extending this loving kindness to all beings. You can kind of envision this loving kindness energy radiating out from the heart in all directions, in front of us, behind us, above us, below us, to the left and to the right. May all beings be happy and joyful in this moment. May all beings be healthy in body, healthy in mind, healthy in spirit. May all beings know inner peace and peace in their relationships. May all beings be free from suffering and free from the causes of suffering. May all beings live with ease. Return to ourselves. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. May I live with ease. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering and live with ease. Resting in awareness of the body, mind, the heart. Resting in awareness itself, a sense of being awake. Tension back into the belly, into the breath that's flowing into the rise and fall of the abdomen. Allowing the whole body to soften, soothe, and rest. Soften, soothe, and rest. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, no problems to solve in this moment. as we cultivate this deeper quality of awareness of our deepest nature, there's great benefit. We have access to a much vaster pool of wisdom that isn't limited by our life experience to this moment, or our worldviews to this moment. So opens us to the capacity for greater empathy for ourselves and for others, since we can recognize how we are often imprisoned by our own beliefs and our own worldviews, and see that in others as well. Perhaps there's a third way of being in this world that taps a deeper wisdom that resides in each of us. The wisdom that arises from stillness, knowing that that stillness actually is a pool of unlimited, immense possibility. All possibilities arise from that stillness. I'll read this Rumi poem one more time. See how it might touch you now. Your grief for what you've lost lifts a mirror up to where you're bravely working. Your grief for what you've lost lifts a mirror up to where you're bravely working. Expecting the worst, you look, and instead here's the joyful face you've been wanting to see. Your hand opens and closes and opens and closes. If it were always a fist or always stretched open, you'd be paralyzed. Your deepest presence is in every small contracting and expanding, the two as beautifully balanced and coordinated as the bird wings. So if you're so inclined to do some reading, you can work with section 5 in our book. If you don't have the book, that's fine. It's really a lot about basic mindfulness, this section. Talks about how the mind tends to be on autopilot most of the time. And in that autopilot mode, we tend to have a lot of mind wandering, a lot of thoughts of past and future, and miss the present moment, where we can connect to our deeper values and bring those forward as opposed to just reacting out of habit. So I welcome you to those readings. And I think that about concludes our practice for the night. And then we have a couple slides to close with. Deborah has those. Yes. Screen up here. So we always ask if you're willing to help us continue these programs that Unitarian Universalist Community Church offers. We welcome your donations, any small amount. It could be, if you're really into this stuff and you want to give like a monthly donation of $5 or $10, that would be wonderful. Or any token you can give. And if that's not right for you right now, or you are with budgets and all that, that's absolutely fine. Our goal here is to support people in connecting to a deeper love and compassion for themselves and love and compassion for this world to bring healing about. And I think in your follow-up emails, since you register this, you'll also receive a donation link there. That's probably the easiest way to give. And do we have any upcoming events? We have a Thoughtful Thursday coming up on February 27th at 7 p.m. And this is a wonderful thought leader, Russell Bishop. He's nationally recognized, leading a soul-centered life. So it should be quite interesting. There'll be an interview of him followed by time for discussion. So if you're kind of interested in the contemplative side of life, he'll really be working with this as well. Anything else coming up, Sal? In our next session, Monday, February 24th at 7. Hope you can join us. And there's plenty of exercises in the Essential Spirituality book in that section 5, additional practices if you'd like to work with that. And I remind you as well, the resources that we send in our follow-up emails, there's a bunch of links there. The Mind Illuminated book has a lot of specifics on practice if you want to go deeper into your practice, the mindfulness and insight meditation practice. And there's other resources as well. So thanks a lot to anyone. Any questions? I didn't ask for questions. I've been finding as we do these classes, people are so kind of in a space of quietude that discussion doesn't always flow. So, but if there are questions about the practice, feel free to unmute. And if not, we'll see you in a couple weeks then. Be blessed, everyone. Take care of yourself, and know that this human species of ours continues to go upward. We have our starts and stops, but we're moving forward, and we will continue with the wisdom and the love that we know is present in humanity. Sometimes it gets covered over, but trusting that that will continue to move forward in the months and years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.